to the office, and she ended up saying I was trying to figure out how to turn off my cruise control. My dream car when I was a kid was a G Wagon, right? And that was like out of my league. I was like, there's no way I'll be able to afford this car, you know? So working hard and looking how much G Wagons cost at the dealership, you know, depends which one. Even the old ones, they're still expensive, you know? So I ended up purchasing a G Wagon from the auction, my first one. It was like my dream car, you know? And it was a 2002 G500. And what we did was kind of a 63 conversion, you know, we on eBay bought, you know, 2000 worth of parts, you know, facelift, bumpers, headlight covers, grill, all this good stuff, you know, some new rims. So the thing about G-Wagons is they all look the same. So if you're driving one on the road, you're not gonna know what year it is unless you're a car enthusiast and you know stuff about G-Wagons, right? So because I know they made the G-Wagons from 19 something all the way to 2018, it's just square. It's only in 2019 and 20 where they really changed the body, and you can obviously tell that's 2019 or 20, you know. I bought this old G-Wagon and I pretty much made it look like a 2018 G63. I did not throw the badges on. It was still a 500. And this is actually the first G-Wagon that I got. And I believe I owned it for only 4 months. And one time I was driving to work with it. It was just a straight road, a one-way road, gravel on the side. So it was a really skinny road, you know. So what happened was my back wheel went out, right? And it kind of pulled me to the side on the gravel. And once I hit the gravel, I couldn't control the car anymore. And you know, the car does weigh close to 7,000 pounds. And as soon as I hit the gravel road, there was an electric pole. So it doesn't matter if I turn the wheel left or right, I'm going straight because I'm on gravel road, right? So I ended up hitting the electric pole, which pushed me to the side, and I end up hitting another pole and end up flipping it a few times. You know, I believe it was like 2, 3 times. And I wasn't wearing my seatbelt, which I learned a big lesson right there. Always wear your seatbelt. I ended up in the trunk somehow. I was in control, I was surprised. I was in control the whole process of rolling over. So it's not like I was in shock or anything, which was really weird, you know. I remember holding my coffee and then it wasn't there. After the car pretty much stopped rolling and it was laying to the side, I just kind of got up. I wasn't even freaking out. And I ended up kind of just walking out of the front windshield because the thing was tipped over and the windshield was gone. And I ended up walking out the front windshield, and it was around 5 a.m. And I was only there, and there was around four or five construction workers on the railroads working. So it was only me and them, and they all ran up, and they're just all standing there. They looked more shocked than I was, you know, and I knew my car was kind of rolled over, and I'm like just like standing there, I'm like, oh, what now, you know? They basically were asking me if I'm fine, if I'm in shock. They thought I was in shock because I was just kind of walking around, you know, but I knew what was going on, you know, and I was like, yeah, well, you know, it is what it is. It happened. I just rolled my first G-Wagon. I only owned it for I believe 4 months, somewhere around there. So I was like, well, this sucks, you know. And at the end of the day, obviously the ambulance came, the firefighters came, they checked my blood pressure, sent me a nice bill for that. I was not injured at all whatsoever. So I wasn't even sore next day. I actually even went to work literally 2 hours after that happened, after I called the insurance and kind of dealt with them about it, you know. So they ended up towing the G-Wagon, and insurance ended up taking it, you know. I didn't really make money on the insurance on it because when I purchased the G-Wagon, I put a lot of personal money into the body kit and all the rims and all this stuff, and insurance obviously did not cover any of this. They only covered the value of the car. So I maybe lost 2 grand on it, which wasn't too bad, but you know, at the same time, that was kind of it kind of sucked, you know. So what happened was I started kind of looking for more G-Wagons, you know, and I ended up purchasing my second one. And this one was really nice. It was matte gray, red interior, you know, rims, body kit. It was, you know, I even ended up putting like a starlight inside it, make it look like a Rolls Royce. It was a really nice car, and I ended up driving the car for about, I would say 2, 3 months again. And I was standing on the red light with my wife, just minding my own business, you know, waiting for the light to turn green. and out of nowhere I smacked the steering wheel with my face, and I smack it with my face, and I'm like, what is going on, you know? And I look in the back and I see a Ford, I think it was a Focus, the new ones, and that thing is completely destroyed. It took me probably a few days to realize what kind of car it was, going through pictures, looking, you know, and that car was completely destroyed. And I walked outside and I'm just like, kind of like, I was more confused about this accident than I was rolling my G Wagon, the first one, right? So I was like, what's going on? And it was a female driver. She was maybe in her 20s. So what's funny is there was an officer right by me, so he witnessed everything, correct? And he was standing on a red light as well. So the first thing, she got out of the car and she basically said I was at fault because I was standing, you know? And there's nowhere I can go, you know, there's cars in front of me and I'm on a red light. I'm at a complete stop. And then what she ended up saying was, to the officer, she ended up saying, I was trying to figure out how to turn off my cruise control, you know? So she was going roughly 50 to 60 miles an hour on cruise control on busy streets, and you just have to step on the brakes. That's how you turn it off. But maybe she was looking for a button or something, and she was maybe panicked, or I don't know her side of the story, and she just went straight into me, and I smacked the steering wheel with my face. This time I was wearing a seatbelt. I learned my lesson from the first one. And, you know, my nose it wasn't broken. I thought it was fractured because it was a little bit to the side and it was swollen. So once I went to the ER, they scanned this. So they just said it wasn't fractured, it wasn't broken or anything. It was just really sore next day. So I called my insurance place and I was like, I had this and this and this. I had like an extra, you know, 15 grand invested in this car, the way it looks. And what they told me is you need special insurance to cover all of these aftermarket parts, everything you want to do. But see, I didn't know that, because when I called the insurance and when I got the insurance on my G Wagon, for example, if the G Wagon's worth 50K, I told them I want insurance for 70K. You know, they asked me how much it's worth. I told them how much it's worth, and I got full coverage insurance. And I was like, okay, I'm safe. You know, nobody told me that I have to get special insurance of my aftermarket parts. But then when something like this happens, when an accident happens, then that's when you start kind of having problems with insurance. They don't want to cover this, they don't want to cover that. You know, which is funny because it's her side insurance that was covering everything. You know, since she was 100% at fault. You know, she rear-ended me pretty badly, you know. And also my car had barely any damage on the back bumper. The frame did move just a little bit, but it's fixable. It's an easy fix. But my back bumper was damaged. My tailgate was a little bit damaged, and her car was just completely you can use maybe just the back part of the car. The engine was pretty much in the passenger seat. So it's crazy how she hit me at that speed and how strong the G Wagon is, you know. I mean, the car was used in the military, you know, back in the day. So she ended up crashing into my second G Wagon. So I'm just like, man, I'm having bad luck with these cars. You know what? Third time's the charm. So I found a really good price on the third G Wagon finally in Missouri. So I ended up flying to Missouri, purchasing the G Wagon, and actually driving 3,000 miles back to Sacramento, roughly 3,000 back to Sacramento, and it was actually a really fun trip, you know, going through Utah, all these states. It was a good experience. I'm on my third G Wagon already, and it's been, I know, a good 5 months now. And you know, let's just, you know, I hope this is the one, you know. I hope nothing happens to it.
Homeowners insurance may just seem like some boring thing that you have to get a mortgage, but it can be a surprising way to actually save a lot of money. Policy Genius is your advocate to do that. They shop your policy and your insurance needs amongst all the major carriers and find you the best deal. In fact, every time it renews, Policy Genius does it all over again. They check everybody else, they make sure you're getting the best deal, and if there's a better deal out there, they switch you for free. Policy Genius can also bundle your homeowner's policy with your car insurance policy and save you even more. Policy Genius has saved their combined auto and home insurance customers an average of $1,127 a year. So visit the link in the description below, tell them a little bit about yourself and your property, and they'll tell you if you're getting the best deal. Be sure to thank them for their support of VINwiki.